Hey, what's going on everybody? James here, and today we are back with another video in our Watch Basics series. And so, as you can see by the fact that my watches are turned over, today we're going to be talking about casebacks and just some different styles, types, what to look for, what you might prefer, kind of some different options for you. And as you can see, we've also got some upgraded lighting in the studio area here, which I'm excited about. So hopefully that will help enhance a little bit the video as we go. So thanks again for stopping by the video. If this is your first time here, I appreciate it. Go ahead and like and comment down below if you have any thoughts. Do subscribe to the channel because, again, this channel is all about getting out of watches what you want to get out of watches so that you can know and love the watches you have and be a satisfied collector. So let's jump into the topic for today's video. So again, we're talking about casebacks. I've got 3 watches in front of the camera here today. First one, we've got the Grand Seiko SLGA 017, one of the limited edition models from Grand Seiko. I've got my Girard-Perregaux 1966 Orion, and it is a beautiful aventurine dial. I'm continuing to absolutely love how this one looks for a lot of different applications. And then we have my Rolex Sky Dweller, which again, y'all have seen in many videos. I feature it often just because it is a fantastic watch and probably my favorite Rolex. So what is there to know about casebacks? Well, really that you have 2 different types for the most part, with maybe a couple of exceptions we'll talk about. And really you have open casebacks or sapphire casebacks or clear casebacks. It's kind of, they're all synonymous for this style where you can see the movement through it. So that's an open caseback. You can see the movement, you can see the rotor, you can see some of the finishing. And then you have a closed caseback or a solid caseback like this, and really not much to see here. It's just a piece of metal, and some instances of this, it's different metal. Most of the time it's going to be whatever the case is made out of, but there's not really a disadvantage to either or. I think that there may be some misnomers about it, like is it less water resistant to have a see-through caseback or a sapphire caseback as opposed to a closed caseback? Well, that may be true, except that there have been some pretty wild diving watches, such as the Omega Ploprof, some of the older models, that actually have open casebacks, and those are rated for like 1,200 meters. So I don't think that you can really make that argument. Are they more visually appealing to have an open caseback? You could definitely make that case. You could definitely make a case when you look at some of the finishing on these watches. It's kind of neat, right? And you can see how much wear I get out of these watches because they are not clean by any stretch of the imagination, but here you go. So again, in this particular case, we've got a limited edition little stamp on here from Grand Seiko, and this is one of their spring drive 5-day models. So you can see the different aspects of the movement right through the back of the case. And you can see the power reserve indicator on the back, which is pretty much full. And if you look down at the bottom, it's kind of hard to see. Right at the left of the case back there, you can see that governing wheel that's moving in one direction, which is why you have the really clean sweep of the spring drive seconds hand, which I really love. So yeah, you can see some of those things. The Girard-Perregaux, again, it's a 1966 Orion, and not the most complicated watch, but gosh, I really gotta find some way to clean that because it's dirty. I don't really know if me wiping it a little bit will help, but just a little bit better for the camera. Yeah, maybe it's a little bit better. So Girard-Perregaux, here it's a little bit more finishing on the watch than you see on the Grand Seiko, right? You can see perlage on the base plate there. You can see beveling on the bridges. You can see some beveling on the rotor, some Côte de Genève in a circular fashion on the rotor. And then, straight Côte de Genève across the bridges. So, you can see some of the different aspects of finishing on the watch, which is kind of nice. Some blued screws there. Really, really nice details. And of course, you can see the actual movement on this one, unlike the Grand Seiko. So, but you know, is that an advantage? Not necessarily. If you like to be able to see the case back and see what's in your watch, then you may enjoy that. If you don't care and you're just like, hey, I want a durable watch that's going to do everything I need it to do, it's going to be a great daily driver, you know, whatever you're using it for, then who cares? Who cares if you can see through the case back or not? And some people, again, prefer the heft of a solid case back. So again, there's not really a rhyme or reason to it. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to showcase both the Grand Seiko and the Rolex, because as you can see, they're both kind of steel sports watches, if you will, and both of them have different types of case backs. You know, one is open, one is closed. So no hard and fast rules about that. You know, and I don't have an example of it here, but you know, my GP is more of a dress watch. But even with this, right, there are plenty of dress watches that have closed case backs. I think of the prior generation, before they discontinued them, Rolex Cellini models. And those were fantastic dress pieces, and they had closed case backs. It's just one of those things. You know, the brand chose not to open them up. Now they're, you know, starting to with the new 1908 collection. But there's no right or wrong about this. You know, the only other exception that I would mention here is something like a Patek Philippe 5227J, which has a hinged case back. So again, imagine that you have this, and then on the side you have a little hinge with a piece that folds over the top so that it's actually closed, and then you can open the hinge up, and then you can see the movement. So, you know, there are some brands and models that do that as well. So, open versus closed case backs. Not a lot to know in that sense. Again, most of them are made of sapphire for the most part, just because it's a very hard material. And it pretty much can give you, again, in the instance of something like the Ploprof, it's still going to give you the same amount of water resistance as you would have on a normal closed case back watch. So there's not a benefit, there's not a disadvantage. It really comes down to, do you like to see the movement in your watch, or do you not really care? Because again, I will tell you, Rolex, again, being one of the most popular brands in the industry, those folks don't really care. You know, I mean, I'm sure there are some of them that are and do and wish that, you know, they would open them up. And now they are, again, on certain models. But that's not the predominant reason why people go after those watches. So just figured that would be something to talk about, maybe dispel any myths around water resistance or, you know, beauty or any of that kind of stuff. Because again, these are both very different examples of beautiful watches, and they are both beautiful in their own way. You know, I mean, the Rolex is fantastic with the fluting on the bezel, with the sunburst kind of style dial to it, just the overall design and aesthetic and the polishing, you know, where you have the contrasting of the polished centers with the brushed outer links here, and then the polished case, you know, just a very beautiful and elegant look, right? And then you have something like the Girard-Perregaux, which I'm appreciating this lighting right now because you can see, gosh, you guys can tell that I wear my watches. These are not sitting in a safe somewhere waiting to appreciate and value. So yeah, I mean, the Girard-Perregaux, again, this aventurine dial is just absolutely stunning, and in this light you're really getting to see how much on fire it looks. It's just a fantastic watch. So all that to say, beauty is not determined by the case back. So thanks for stopping by and watching the video. I appreciate it. Again, like and comment and subscribe. You know, and again, this channel is all about getting what you want out of watches. It's going to be different for all of us, and that's okay, because I want you to know and love the watches that you do have, so you can be a satisfied collector. Thanks so much, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.